So, the spoiler talk for episode 8. I don't even know what to start with. Well, I'll start with how I thought. Surprisingly underwhelming. That was my final thought about the film. Funny. I have an episode 1 posted in my wall, and I'm complaining about how much episode 8 sucked. You know what? Actually, pretty accurate. Episode 1 was underwhelming because of how bad it was. This one was underwhelming because of how, what would I say? Disrespectfully, it got rid of the old tropes and how pretentiously it created the new tropes. This movie's everything felt like it's almost like the movie was saying, don't pay attention until I tell you to pay attention. So most of the stuff you can just enjoy, but you can also zone out. You really don't need to pay attention. And Kevin Feige-esque humor. I mean, a lot of people will say it's Marvel humor, it's Josh Whedon humor. Yes, Josh Whedon may have started this style of humor, but this isn't Josh Whedon humor. The same way Michael Bay isn't a representation of all the 80s action movies that came out. This is just a very bad form of that type of humor. This is like the Kevin Feige version of it. So, if Joss Whedon was McDonald's, Kevin Feige would be Burger King. Yeah, that humor did not go well with Star Wars. I mean, episode 7, it actually kind of flowed because. Why did it flow actually in episode 7? Timing. It flowed because of the way it was put in. The it made sense why it belonged there. Here they don't make sense. Here they feel very contrived. Like the writer and the director wanted it in, so the events and the logics of the world, like the world's own internal logic that's set up, had to do gymnastics to make those situations happen. One of the very critical things I felt while watching this, it reminded me how it made me feel, realize, whatever you want to call it. It made me realize that about The Force Awakens and just how much better it was. Like Force Awakens, from the very opening shot, when the Star Destroyer is passing over the moon, it it was unlike any way Star Wars was ever shown. This type of, what would you call this? Yes, it's part of cinematography, but it's visual literacy, visual style. I expect this type of visual storytelling, yes, visual storytelling with style from Spielberg, from Martin Scorsese. That's the level of quality of execution I got from The Force Awakens. And after such a big, it was Star Wars coming back to the big screen, I was continuing the original trilogy. That was perfect. Like, you can feel that Star Wars had elevated. It was Star Wars for a new generation. I had friends who had never seen Star Wars before. They came back and they were, what would I say? They were gushing over it. Yes, gushing is a good way to describe it. And one of them I remember were specifically saying, like, dude, is this Star Wars? And episode 8 is not at all that. Episode 8 is, yes, it has a lot of surprises, but surprises can be good and bad. This one's out of the 40 plus surprises. This one had about like 40 plus surprises. And out of that, I liked about 4 to 6 of them. The most of them were just like, meh, like, okay, they don't really add anything, they don't take away anything. And then there's tons that took away, made the thing underwhelming. And if I had to cover all of them, then I would say the ones that I liked were very few, and they were not that powerful enough that they overshadowed the other ones. Like Force Awakens had its flaws, but its strengths pretty much outweighed and, right, got rid of the other flaws. Here's a personal preference or whatever you want to call it. Like, this is one of the reasons why I hold up Force Awakens to a higher level, if you can see it, and why I respect JJ. He did not show Luke Skywalker in Force Awakens. That told me, and with the lightsaber battles, I can clearly see JJ is not very good at handling that type of action scenes, and he's not very good at handling maybe Luke Skywalker and the Jedi and all of that. So, he didn't. And I can respect the person for that. And his lightsaber battles, he does not know how to do it, so he made both of them Padawan types. None of them know how to use this shit. And one of them who does know how to use it got wounded by Wookiee's blaster. Well, Chewie's blaster, but it's a Wookiee blaster, so yeah. Wookiee bow something, right? Energy bow or something, whatever. I don't remember much. I don't remember it quite. Anyway, so that I can respect. In this one, it didn't feel like there was any control over storytelling. It just felt like shove in as many surprises as you can. Whether they worked or not, irrelevant. We'll figure it out. The audience is just gonna brush past the audience. They're not gonna notice it the first time. Especially because since everybody's a critic, that means every opinion is equal to each other's. Most time, by the time people actually sort through which were bad and which were not, the movie's entire theater run would be over and it would earn the amount it already has. And one entire group would then just go wait for episode 9. Maybe they'll fix the problems in that one. And that's essentially what they will do. They will fix the problems in that one, and that one will be almost, well, again, now I'm just going into conjectures and everything. I should stop. But yeah, that's my fear. My fear is episode 9 is going to be another episode 8. And, well, then again, episode 9 is being done by JJ, so let's see how that goes. What else is there to add? Is there anything else to add? I felt I should talk about this because, not sure. It's Star Wars. For some people, I guess some Star Wars fan would understand why someone like me would just post this. And no, I actually wasn't showing the poster intentionally. It's just positioned in my room that way. I don't feel very personal about Star Wars as much as I feel very passionate about it. And I feel they have gone in the wrong direction. The Force Awakens felt like a Star Wars fan who was also a filmmaker, who knew what he was doing, who is in control of his craft. Episode 8, The Last Jedi, felt like that proverbial $200 million Star Wars fan film. It's like if your Star Wars fan goes into a buffet, he doesn't know what he's going to eat. So he doesn't finish any of the dishes properly. Everything is just half eaten and there's like, it's messy all over. That's what the execution of The Last Jedi felt like to me. Very messy execution. That's it. I am no longer excited about episode 9. I watched The Force Awakens 6 times in theaters. 6 times. Dear Lord. Even I'm thinking about it and having a headache that I watched that damn film 6 times in theaters. Each of the tickets cost an equivalent of $60 to $80 here. I had to save up for a while to watch that film, and I don't regret it. I genuinely don't. But this one, I watched twice and I'm already feeling drained. I don't want to watch it the third time. It doesn't have anything. It's an empty thing. Here's another food analogy. If Star Wars was a gourmet dish, The Force Awakens was a dish made up of same ingredients but not the same dish. This one just felt like the gourmet aspect is gone, now it's just fast food. Let's address a direct issue of mine. Something that I can actually directly say I didn't like it this way and I would have preferred if they had done it differently. Lord Snoke's death. Very good example. A lot of people are like, oh, so it was a red herring. That's what the entire thing was. You didn't expect it coming. Yes, but this is the wrong type of red herring because this does not elevate episode 7. This makes it a waste of time. Like a lot of those things are now waste of time. They're not build-ups. This red herring would have been a proper usage if Kylo Ren had killed him in episode 7. If Lord Snoke got killed in episode 7 near the end, that would have been a proper red herring. Now it was not a proper red herring. Sorry for the burp. I drank a little bit of water before, so that's what happened. So anyway, back to the point. In this one, the red herring was a waste of time. This red herring was the equivalent of the Mandarin twist. It was hokey. It didn't go anywhere. And Luke Skywalker dying was a Martha twist. Like BVS had the Martha twist. It was very gimmicky. Like it was supposed to tug at your heartstrings, but it doesn't really do it. It's gimmicky. It uses gimmicks. That's what this entire film felt like. It was either one Martha twist or one Mandarin twist from Iron Man 3. If you like those type of twists, if you think those were good, you are, what's that word? Allowed your opinion, you can have it and all of it. But just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean that opinion is of, significant value, because not all opinions are of equal strength or value or worth. All opinions have value, that's true, but they don't have equal value. So for me personally, if anybody liked the Iron Man 3's Mandarin twist and BVS's Martha twist, those were kind of a litmus test for me, as those people don't really understand. They just like surprises, that's it. As long as it's a surprise, they're fine. In this movie, in Star Wars, that's not. If somebody argues here that, they're trying to change the convention, they're trying to make it a different type of, you can make anything different. You can make Star Wars like Sharknado if you want. Doesn't necessarily will yield in good result. Not necessarily the product will be at its maximum strength. If I don't think I'm explaining. I'm not very articulate with words. Just because it's done doesn't mean that was the right course of action. And it's usually discovered through quality. If it's not giving the right quality in return, it's a good chance that something has gone wrong. So, yeah. What other nitpicks I had? Leia getting saved? Nope. I loved that scene. I genuinely loved that scene. What I did not like was Admiral Akbar getting killed with her there, and it's just like, Admiral Akbar died. It was never a big deal. Star Wars was always all about killing of characters randomly in the background. Yes, characters like Boba Fett, who were intentionally meant to be done that way, not like, for example, Jango Fett's death. A lot of people go like, "Oh no, Jango Fett's death was so sudden. It was sucky." I always thought that was perfect. I genuinely expected it. Why? He went against Mace Windu. Star Wars lore and internal logic wise, doesn't matter how powerful of a Mandalorian you are. You're going against a Jedi Knight, you're getting fucked. You're going against a Jedi Master like Mace Windu. You should be lucky that you survived for that 5 fucking seconds. So yeah, I don't. I think the execution of it was kind of bad. That Rhino thingy came and Boba Fett had to do the CGI jump and look cool. Oh, sorry, not Boba Fett. Jango Fett had to do the CGI jump and look cool, but the end fight thing was same. Like when Mace Windu charged at him, he shot him. It didn't do shit. He just cut his head off. Block, deflect, and I think cut head, something like that. So anyway, that way of doing that, like, oh, this character's just gonna die. That was the Game of Thrones type death, but done for comedic purposes. It's the same type of technique. Game of Thrones uses this technique for, well, gravitas and impact. George Lucas usually uses it for comedy. The ones in episode 8 were not those. Lord Snoke's death was not that. Lord Snoke's death was if Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back got killed by that. Got killed by whom? Well, nobody from episode 4 actually survived from the Empire. So there's actually no good comparison. It's not killing of the Empire because the Emperor didn't even appear in episode 4. So yeah, there's actually not even a good analogy for it because it's so horrible. Wow. That's it. I think I'm gonna talk about Justice League after this. I think I really needed to do this to open up. I'm not very good with this vlogging podcast or whatever this is called. I hope it's not too irritating for some people. Take care. All opinions matter, even though all opinions are not equal. Bye.